There's so much mud.
Dip your bill in the water.
Chocolate dipped duck bills. Hey there guys, welcome back to Calico Cow Acres. We're back in the garden, in the chicken coop garden area today. We are gonna start out with potting up some trees. Stark has had some really good deals lately for like $18 trees.
Yeah, yes, they've had a lot of stuff on sale, but they've had a lot of trees for like $18, and usually I think their trees start at like $40.
Yeah.
And some of the ones we got I think are even more than that.
We ordered a couple of them a few weeks ago. Those have been in the ground for a while. They're doing well. We need to get fences around those today because the deer are starting to munch on them. But we just decided to order a bunch more. And I think we're gonna go through and show you which ones we got.
Our initial plan was to kind of start planting the orchard out in the fall because there is a lot of stuff we need to clear down there still. But then we got our cheap Tractor Supply trees, and those were doing good. Like you said, with initially on sale, we just got 2 more because that's all we had room to get in the ground.
Yeah.
And they actually didn't have this many varieties on sale when we first bought some a few weeks ago. But we figured these are so cheap, you know, comparatively, that we could get them, pot them up, and then in the fall we will have the space in the orchard to get them in the ground. So rather than wait till fall to buy them at full price, we can just get them in some pots, and we got pretty big pots, you'll see, so they should be happy for whatever, 5 months.
Yeah, and they had a bunch of varieties we had been wanting to get.
Right, yeah.
So those ones were on sale.
I think we got most of the ones that were on sale, but they were pretty much all varieties that we wanted. This is the Cortland apple, which I think, so a couple of them, like I said, this was a bigger one. This is like their supreme size. We got a Granny Smith of this down in the orchard planted already, and these are like nice big bare roots.
Like 5 feet tall almost.
I forget I know we want Cortland because it's good in cider. It's kind of I think all of these really are like 1800s cultivars, but a lot of them are cider apples. So anyway, the Cortland is actually the one we're not sure if it's gonna set fruit here. They claim it's only a zone 4 to 6 plant.
We're technically zone 8 now.
And we're zone 8 now, but the required chill hours for that tree to set its bloom and fruit overlaps with a lot of zone 8 trees.
Yeah.
Some that we have already that like we're, you know, people grow here and, you know, in orchards and stuff. So we'll see how it does. It might just be year to year with that tree, whether it fruits or not. But
we're basing it off of the chill hours, not the zone.
Yeah, because we do get, you know, a solid like month or 2 here where it's pretty cold.
Yeah.
So we're hoping it will keep those happy. This one is the Grimes Golden Apple. They say they think this one might be like one of the parent fruits to Golden Delicious. Yeah, I never actually planned on getting this one, but it was like from West Virginia, like the cultivar's from West Virginia, so we know it should do pretty well in this climate. And
this one's even taller.
It was, I don't know, I just thought it was kind of cool that it might be like one of the precursors to Golden Delicious, which we do have in the orchard as well. So.
I'm gonna show this one. So this one, you can see the buds starting to open up on that already. The Cortland doesn't have those buds opening yet, but
no, so
it's
I think
nice...
with the Supremes, since they have so many branches growing on them already, I think they cut all the buds off them. That's one thing I do really like about these Stark trees is they prune them.
Yeah.
So like you don't really have to worry about pruning them. This is the Arkansas Black. This variety is one of their like Stark spur varieties, which just means it'll fruit out of like, I think all of the leaf nodes on the branch. It won't just fruit at the terminal node at the end of the branch. So I think they're a little higher maintenance. You have to thin more fruit off of them, but you will get more fruit off of them as well.
Also, we haven't mentioned this. Some of these are semi-dwarf, some of them are dwarf.
I think they're
This
all...
one says dwarf.
Is it? No, okay. I thought they were all semi-dwarf.
So I think that one's probably the only dwarf one then.
Yeah, and our plan with these is kind of in the center part of our orchard. We will be getting more like dwarf trees,
Yeah.
but we kind of need to make a whole new berm to plant on in there, and we have a lot more things to clear there. These semi-dwarfs we're going to put on the edge fence line of the orchard, and we'll, you know, still have to prune them, I'm sure, but we'll let them get a little bigger and they'll kind of create a new tree line for us. This one is the Whitney crabapple. This is another one that we pretty much got for cider. These are bigger crab apples. They say they're supposed to be like golf ball size. I'm used to like
Teeny tiny.
grape size
Cherry,
at best.
yeah.
But yeah, they're supposed to be really good in cider, and then crab apples in general are just really good for pollinating, you know, the rest of your apple trees.
Yeah, and pollinators in general just like crab apples.
Yeah.
We'll probably put some crab apples up here towards the garden area too, just as more landscaping once we start to maintain things better.
Yeah.
Once we get to that point.
So yeah, crab apple.
This one's got all sorts of buds on
I'm
it.
gonna grab this one first. I think these are not apples.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, this is the other supreme one, so it's a little bigger. It's a golden russet, which again I pretty much got because it's good in cider.
So this past year, we haven't really talked about this a lot, but this past year we got a bunch of seconds apples from a local orchard, and they were $10 a bushel, so we got a ton of them, and we practiced making our own hard cider for the first time, and we use them for other things too, but it turned out amazing. Everybody else who's tried it has been like, wow, this is delicious, you should sell this, which we're not going to do.
Yeah.
But we did some flavors, and they all turned out really well. And we want to do more this year, try more flavors, keep experimenting with it, and just like honing that skill.
Yeah, and I mean a lot of these apples too that are like cider varieties, hopefully these trees still grow more than we can use.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll sell or give away whatever we can to people who want them. But the cider varieties also, you know, can be really good animal food too. I mean, they all can, but
Yeah, we have lots of uses for them, and we aren't opposed to selling and or giving them away if we have too many at some point. But yeah, so we'll probably, especially once we're pulling in boatloads of apples in a few years, we'll definitely do more like videos on cider making, and once we get more into that, because that's really fun. We both enjoyed the whole process of that and like the science behind it.
yeah, I think now we know what we're doing too, so we
Yeah.
can actually maybe.
We didn't film it last year because we had no clue what we were doing. We were just experimenting.
I think these last two should both be, yeah, these are both Red Haven peaches. So this variety is from southwestern Michigan, not too far from where we're from, so that was cool. They were also like the $18 sale.
Yeah.
And our two peaches from Tractor Supply, they are growing. They finally started to get some green growth on them.
Yeah.
But they're definitely not doing as well as the apples. So we'll just see how those do. We were going to get more peaches in the future anyway.
Yeah.
These might end up actually replacing those like on the main berm.
We'll just see how they do.
But yeah, we'll just see how they do. And like I said, we have other areas that we were going to plant peaches out anyway, so we figured we might as well grab these. There were another red, were the ones we got white flesh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are a red flesh freestone.
You'll notice that we have only apples and peaches so far in our orchard. We do plan to kind of branch out into other fruits, but those are the ones that we use more than anything.
Yes. And apples we can store.
Yeah, apples are kind of like our primary. We know that we can use them for animal food too, and cider, and like there's a lot of things that we use apples for, and they can store well and everything.
Look at the mud on that duck.
Oh my goodness. We'll be doing other fruits at some point once we kind of get more cleaned up down there, and we need to add in, we have plans to add in another berm down there to accommodate other fruits, and just clearing up the land down there a little bit more. But yeah, so that's why we're focusing on apples and peaches, because that's just like the primary things we like.
Yeah.
We do have other things we want to put in eventually though.
Yeah, we'll probably have 1 or 2 trees of every type of fruit you can think of,
Yeah,
or
'cause why
that we
not?
can grow here anyway.
Yeah.
So we just went to Walmart and got some of these like plastic tubs. I think they're like 17 gallons or something like that, which for those size fruit trees, I think they say you should have 15 to 20 gallons. They're not the most durable things in the world,
But they're cheaper.
but they're very cheap. They're cheaper even than getting like used nursery pots off of Facebook Marketplace.
in our area.
Yeah, in our area.
Every time we go to Lowe's, I do check and see if I can find any of their used pots, because they do give away a lot of the cheaper plastic nursery pots. They never have very many big ones, so I do keep an eye out for like free ones. But this is what we've got to work with for now.
Yep. Yeah, so I already went and drilled a bunch of holes in the bottom of these. The hard part probably about these is just remembering to water them so often. We do get a lot of rain here, so we haven't had to water our in-ground trees much yet at all. I think I watered them a couple times when they were first planted, but they've been doing good with all the rain we get. So we'll just have to make sure to water these, but we made a spot up in the garden where the hose is.
Right there. That's gonna be our nursery pad.
Yeah, so we actually put a bunch of chicken and duck bedding on that patch, and we're gonna put a tarp over it right now. The thought is that next year, once these are all in the ground, we'll just turn that into another garden bed. So we'll just get some pre-fertilizing going there for next year.
Let it sit for a year.
So yeah, we're just gonna get all these in there and then put the little deer netting up around it that we have been using on our other fruit trees, and hopefully they stay happy.
There's so much mud.
Stick your bill in the water.
Look at these. Oh my gosh. They're like chocolate dipped.
It's like the one time they won't just stick their whole face in the water.
I know. Chocolate dipped duck bills. Double them up. Gotta come check it out. Look at that bill. Sweaty out here.
And get that in, and then we'll just throw a couple more scoops of topsoil on each one and mix that up so the top is nice and composty. Which
one do you want to plant first? What about the one that's on top? This one is sprouting from its rootstock too. This peach has so many little leaves popping out of it already. We got all of those potted up. We're gonna go grab some mulch now, get mulch on the top, and then we'll water them all in. I also wanted to show you guys, this is up by our driveway. We have all of these that we need to bring over there too and try and fit as many of them on there as we can so that we can actually maintain this edge of the driveway and it'll look a lot nicer, and then they'll all be in one spot so we can water them all together. Forgot we got a whole new mulch pile. Another free mulch score. Our little tree donuts. Okay, we just ran a Tractor Supply and got some more stakes. We can put this netting around the trees in the garden. We're just gonna put them around that whole area. We have to put some around the trees in the orchard too, the two new ones that we got from Stark that have been planted for a couple weeks, but we figured we'd show you what those ones look like right now because they've been in the ground. And one has been getting munched on.
So this one looked much better up until yesterday, but quite a bit of fresh growth was eaten off of it. I mean, not like a ton. It's really
no,
just,
it doesn't look
leaves, but
it doesn't look too much different. This was like all blossoms though yesterday even.
Yeah.
So it's getting munched on, so that's why we're gonna get some net around it. But they're definitely very happy in the ground down here. The one I just showed you was a pink lady.
This one I don't actually think got eaten, which is kind of funny. This Granny Smith.
So this was like the extra big one. What are they called?
The Supremes.
Look at this nasty spider. It's really big.
Wow, the thing underneath its egg.
I know. Disgusting. So we planted our pecan tree, or our little pecan nut in this thing?
Yeah, we found a pecan that had sprouted. It was buried probably by a squirrel or something, just under the surface where we planted the other elderberry. Saw it had a sprout on it. And I mean, it's probably only an inch below the soil, if that. So I mean, the root has grown
all the way down
that far.
That's cool. Hasn't popped out of the soil on top yet, but it's got its taproot going.
Yeah, I think a lot of the times, you know, they'll grow that taproot for a year.
Alright, who knows if any of these are alive, but they're already potted up, so we'll put them in here anyway. There's like two over there. The camera died earlier. We ended up needing to go get more fencing, which we haven't done yet, but we'll go get it and finish that fencing up soon. It's in the garden, so we're not super concerned about it, but just to be safe, we'll finish fencing that. But it is pizza night, and I feel like I've never showed you guys pizza night here. And since it's now hot season, we like to do grilled pizzas. I am just using dough that I had previously frozen from the last time we did pizzas, or a few times ago, I don't remember. So it's been thawing for the last day or two in the fridge, and I just brought it out of the fridge to get it to room temperature so it's easier to work with. If you want the dough recipe I use, it's on our blog, and that's linked down below in the description, CalicoCowAcres.com. These bell peppers are something that I wanted to point out to you, because I'm not going to do them this way this year. Having frozen bell peppers on hand is so nice and so handy and convenient. I got to the end of the year last year with the garden and I was over like preserving things, so I was like, these need to go in the freezer. I don't have time to actually cut them up and whatnot before they go in, so I just chucked them all in a bag and put them in the freezer whole. So annoying to cut up when they're all wet and thawed and whatnot from the freezer and get the seeds out of them. I really don't mind the texture of them eating them. Like, there's still a good crunch to them. Not all of the vessels have broken. They're actually still a good texture, but they're just really hard to cut. And yeah, so I will be freezing a bunch of them still this year. Fingers crossed that we get a lot this year. But I am going to be cutting them up into diced or sliced ahead of time for sure, because that's super convenient, and cutting them from whole frozen is not. So just in case you're tempted to toss them in the freezer at the end of the season, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, so that'll be Taylor's. He likes really thin crust, so I try to make it pretty thin. I made it actually a little bit thicker than I normally do because the grill, it gets really crispy, so I'm not worried about that with the grill. So I just add a little bit of thickness to make sure it doesn't get like burnt crisp. And then mine, when we do grilled pizza, I like it a little bit thicker, so I didn't roll mine out as thinly. But when we do oven pizza, I make them as thin as I possibly can. Like, you can almost see through them when we do oven baked because we like them really thin and crispy. These pizza screens are trick number one to the best pizza. I don't mess with pizza stones. They annoy me. These cool off a lot faster. You don't have to preheat them. This is what we used at the pizza restaurant that I worked at. When we bake our pizzas in the oven, we usually put them on these, but on the grill, we'll just put them right on the flat top because we have a flat top grill. You could probably cook them on a normal grill on these screens though. Okay, so I know I said I'm making like margarita style pizza earlier, but I don't have fresh mozzarella. The whole milk mozzarella makes a huge difference in like the meltiness and the flavor of the pizza. I highly recommend. You can't, at least at our store, you can't find the pre-shredded kind in whole milk. It's always part skim. So definitely try that out. It changes the flavor and it's really good. Okay, veggies are ready, cheese is ready, dough is ready. We need to grab a pizza sauce, home canned from last summer. So we have these at like medium to medium high. It should be like 375-ish. And we're just gonna like flip these upside down on there and let them cook for a few minutes to get pre-cooked before we add toppings. So while they cook, I'll bring all the toppings outside. I don't know if I can pull off a double flip.
I don't know if I can pull off a single.
Just flip it upside down. There you go. Doesn't have to be perfect. Got all of the toppings. Ooh, fluffy! Look at that. You wanna flip them over? It's been like 3 minutes probably. So if we were baking these in the oven, we would be putting olive oil on the crust before the sauce to make a barrier between the sauce and the dough so the dough doesn't get soggy. But these get so crispy on here that we don't really worry about it. I realized that I said that I'm doing like a margarita style pizza at the beginning of this video, and margarita style pizza is like fresh mozzarella, San Marzano sauce with like not really any seasonings.
Yeah.
And the basil, and I'm definitely not using fresh mozzarella, and I'm definitely not using a specific sauce. But there's gonna be tomatoes on it. I'm gonna put basil on it.
Hopefully we don't have any Italians watching.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you close the lid, you can turn the temperature down to low so that the bottom doesn't burn, but the cheese will melt still. And then really you only need to leave it on here as long as you want. You can see it's starting to bubble. So we'll probably give it just another minute.
Yeah, I'd say once like the center of yours is like fully melted and bubbling, these are definitely gonna be good to go.
Yeah. How many pieces do you want?
I don't know, 5. I feel like 6 is too many.
5 is an awkward number, but I'll accommodate you.
Kind of an awkward shape.
I made mine a little thicker this time. Oh, well done. Okay, bye.